It has become an annual tradition in January to predict the games that will be announced in the new year. In last year's video, I talked about Far Cry 6, a new Horizon, Gran Turismo, a new game from the Batman Arkham Origins team, which turned out to be Gotham Knights, that Rocksteady would finally announce their game, Mass Effect would get a remaster, and that we might see the new Fable and a Spider-Man title. Although I did not expect to see a smaller version already launch in 2020. So let's look at what big games will be announced in 2021. Yes, including another new Assassin's Creed. And we got some new rumors on that I will go over. So a lot to get into. A like on the video would of course really help me out. This is the Sunday Jorgameshow. Let's go. I'm doing a new January giveaway for any 2021 game of your choice, and you can enter via the link in the pinned comment, and it's for subscribers of the channel only. I'll reach out to the winner via the email and announce it in the first February Sunday video. 2019 was an okay year for games, with one of the highlights being Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order that now launched more than a year ago, becoming one of the best-selling games of 2019. And EA called it now the first title in an entirely new franchise. That was half a year after launch, although we already knew that a sequel was in development thanks to Jason Schreier's article on Kotaku, also talking about a more unusual title, which turned out to be Star Wars Squadrons, that we of course saw launch recently. I don't think that Jedi Fallen Order 2 will release in 2021, fall 2022, around the new movie makes way more sense, but that doesn't mean that EA cannot already tease it during their EA Play event in the summer. Maybe you remember that Jedi Fallen Order was also announced a year before it came out. It was a really stupid reveal because they just dropped a title and had nothing to show, but because it's a sequel, I think it will be different this time. We will likely get a teaser before the end of the year, and I really can't wait to see where they take the story next. We also learned recently that Respawn is working on a new IP, and we might see some Apex Legends spin-off titles to expand the universe, maybe with a single player game. Could also be a project for this year, but another big game that we will for sure see from EA is Battlefield 6. They even already said that it will be announced in the spring of 2021, with a release in the holiday period, so likely in November. We got some rumors already saying that it will be set during the modern day, with maps being designed for 128 players plus in mind. I am mostly curious if it will be a next-gen only game, because if that is true, then we're in for some insane graphics. There are some rumblings about that, and there were also rumors about a Battlefield 3 remaster. So 2021 is the year that EA will try to get Battlefield back to its former glory. That much at least seems true. Sony did not hold back during 2020 with announcements of the new God of War, Gran Turismo and Horizon that should all launch in 2021. But let's not forget that one strategy for Sony really worked during the PS4 generation, and that is greatness awaits. So announcing games a few years in advance to hype up a promising future for your new hardware. And the highlight at E3 2014, so 6 months after the PlayStation 4 released, was this trailer for Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. The game would then launch 2 years later in May 2016, and well, I would not be surprised if this year we saw a new Uncharted game announced as well. In 2018, Sony started building a new development team in San Diego to work on a third-person action game in collaboration with another major Sony studio, which is likely Naughty Dog. And since then, many Naughty Dog developers have actually joined the team to work on this game. Someone also left the studio recently, but confirmed on Twitter that the studio and the project is still ongoing. Uncharted 4 sold over 16 million copies, so it would be stupid for Sony not to continue the franchise in some way, even if Naughty Dog will not lead it. So yes, an announcement in 2021, 3 years after they started with this new team, makes a ton of sense. And also, let's not forget that we have an Uncharted movie coming in 2021, so announcing a new game around that time would be perfect. As for Naughty Dog, I totally expect them to properly reveal The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer, maybe some PS5 enhancements for the single player experience, but overall they will likely focus on building their new IP. Another big Sony surprise is coming from Guerrilla Games, I think. Horizon Forbidden West has been in development for a while now and will totally hit this year, but if you follow the channel for a while, then you likely know that Guerrilla is also working on a second secret project that they started hiring for back in 2018 with former Rainbow Six talent who also worked on Killzone coming back to the studio. So yeah, maybe it's a new shooter, but after Ghost of Tsushima Legends and reports that Guerrilla is working on a co-op mode for Horizon, I think a separate multiplayer mode for Forbidden West is more likely. I totally think that this PS5 generation we will see more multiplayer versions of familiar Sony franchises, while of course still maintaining the single player story, and Horizon is a perfect fit for that. I'm curious if they will wait until after the Forbidden West launch, just like we saw with Ghost of Tsushima. Either way, I would not be surprised if this second Guerrilla project will be announced in 2021 and that it's a co-op Horizon mode. Before I look at what Ubisoft will announce, let's look at some things that were actually supposed to be revealed in 2020, like the next Saints Row. This news is from November 2019, so before we knew what 2020 turned out to be. So maybe it was planned for like E3 2020, but it was delayed. So I totally think that we will then see the new Saints Row this year, and I would not be surprised if it comes out in 2021 too. The previous games from Volition, Agents of Mayhem, launched in August 2017. So they're likely already like 3 years into the development of this new game. Would be enough, you would think, right? A bit of a surprise in 2020 was the Mafia Definitive Edition, made by Hangar 13, the lead team on Mafia 3. But that studio has also been working on a new IP set in an open world, and it might have to do with superheroes. In February 2020, Take-Two said that they will reveal it in the next few months, but then COVID happened and these plans likely got delayed, so a high chance that we will then see it in 2021. Just like the game from Ken Levine, the creative mastermind behind BioShock, who has been working on this immersive sci-fi game with RPG elements for quite a while now, and we recently learned that the game is in the later stages of production. It has been a while since we saw a game from Ken Levine, so really curious about this one, and maybe it's also launching in 2021. And maybe you remember that 2K also has a new BioShock game in development with a completely new team. Well, it will likely be a while before we see that. I think that 2K will focus on other titles in 2021 instead. We already know quite a lot about Ubisoft's 2021 plans. They started the year with Riders Republic from the creators of Steep, followed by the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake that was recently delayed to March 18th. Then we get Far Cry 6 likely at the end of May, as was leaked already. Rainbow Six Quarantine will be out by September 2021, likely under a new name. And then Skull and Bones should be out before April 2022. I would not be surprised if we saw a new Mario plus Rabbids game. Seems like it's time for that. But yeah, then the holiday 2021 empty slot is still not filled. And the only logical game there, as said before, is a new Assassin's Creed. French YouTuber Jonathan Doe, linked to his channel of course in the video description, teased that the game might come out in the first quarter of 2022 instead. He also notes that Sofia is going to be the lead this time, something I also noted as a possibility in my recent Assassin's Creed 2021 video. So that would be the creators of Rogue. They also helped with Origins, did work on Valhalla, but their final like real big project seems to be the Curse of the Varos DLC for Origins. And if they immediately started after that, then this new game has been in development for almost 3 years. So that would give it more development time than Valhalla by the time it would release. We never saw a mainline Assassin's Creed game in an early year period though, but because of COVID, the development could totally have slowed down, so maybe that's why they decided to push it to the early window, because they cannot make November or October. But yeah, Valhalla could have benefited from a delay as well, and that game was even brought forward by a week. So I really think that Ubisoft will do anything to have an Assassin's Creed launch during the holiday period. Jonathan has a good track record though, so it will be interesting to follow. And I got an Assassin's Creed question coming up in a moment. But first I want to look at Capcom. I did not include it in the initial video because it's kind of cheating. their whole schedule namely leaked thanks to hackers. We see Resident Evil Outrage. This should be, according to rumors, a sort of revelation type title. Dragon's Dogma 2 and Street Fighter 6. So if these like release dates are still correct, they are likely off a bit. I think they will launch later, like Dragon's Dogma here is for summer 2021. So I totally think we will see it being announced though, just like Street Fighter 6. So that's gonna be interesting. I'm really curious about Dragon's Dogma 2 myself. And I also am curious to learn about what Monolith Productions is doing from Shadow of War, but I'm not sure if we will see that game yet. Shadow of War did launch at the end of 2017 though. They did some DLC in 2018, so you would think that they are like well on their way with this next project, right? I'm really curious if it's still in the middle of universe. There's of course this Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show coming, so would also be cool to like announce a Lord of the Rings game around that time. But with Warner already having many projects like going on at the same time, I'm not sure if we will see this project yet, although I'm really curious myself. And let me of course know what games you want to be announced in 2021 in the comments down below, or what you think will happen. I'm really curious to read that. And of course you can also leave questions that I might answer in the next Sunday video. Recently I got a question from Sarah B asking what I think the setting will be for the next Assassin's Creed, China or Japan. And I totally think we will go to China or Japan during an Assassin's Creed this new generation. But the question really is about this upcoming Assassin's Creed. Will it be a rogue situation, so still launch on PS4 and Xbox One? Or will it be immediately a Unity type game, so yeah, be next gen only? I think they're going immediately for this Unity type game, because then I also think you can get away with like launching it 1 year after Valhalla, because then the game will look way better, we will likely have some new bells and whistles. I don't think they can like, sure they can launch a game that is similar to Valhalla, Odyssey and Origins, but I think this time we really need a bigger jump. And looking at the previous Assassin's Creed games, normally after 3 titles we see a bigger jump. So it's gonna be very interesting. The setting could really be anything. I think if they go Unity style immediately next year, or like this year, then I think it will be China. Yeah, I'm just like speculating here. It's gonna be interesting to follow. I will of course report back when there are new rumors and other things that you should know. So totally subscribe for that. The Sunday videos are back every Sunday. Thanks for everyone who asked, where are the Sunday videos? It's cool to see people care about this format. I really enjoy making it. And like the video, totally check out my previous Sunday video that did not launch on Sunday, so maybe you missed it, about the top 5 games of 2020. You can watch it by clicking on the screen. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.